Hi, I'm Chris Bourne, and I'm part of the Teaching and Learning Committee, and we are trying to give some tips and tricks on trying to overcome some of the hurdles you might be facing in your online, your HiFlex, or even your in-person classes that we're facing, having to do with the mask, having to do with half of our class being logged in remotely. Even if you're teaching in person, you might have, my class of 30, I have typically 6 or 7 students logging in through the computer. And so how do we go ahead and try to make sure that everyone feels like they can be participating? And that's some of the tips and tricks that we're trying to build out to give to you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about PollEverywhere. And I might have talked to you about before, you might have had some sort of exposure to it, but I want to show you just really quick, in less than 5 minutes, how I use it to make sure that everyone can feel engaged at the same time, both my students in class and my students online. And even if they are not able to be there at that particular time, they can do some of these things ahead of time and still have their voice heard. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera and share my screen. First, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. So share my screen, and then there's my screen, and then I'm going to turn off the camera. Okay. So here we are in PollEverywhere. Again, it's PollEverywhere.com. I have been using this for a really long time, and I have never bought the paid version. I've always used the free version. If you have I think it's under 40 to 50 to 60 respondents for any one activity, excuse me, you can use the free version. So you can go to PollEverywhere.com. I've already logged in, but you can click login, and it patches through Google. Through your Gmail, and so you can use your Ph.D. email, and it'll patch you right through. And here's where you come in. And so if I go to PollEverywhere right here, here we go. And so this is the quote unquote homepage of PollEverywhere, and you can see I have a ton of activities and a ton of questions already that I've been building out over the years. Been using this for a long time. So I switched from the clickers. The handheld clickers over to PollEverywhere, but it's great. So if you go in here, you can see all the different things. There's a lot of great tutorials, but I'm just going to walk you through 4 different things that I do in the class. So the first thing, you can decide, what kind of question do I want to create? What kind of poll do I want to create? And so you can have multiple choice questions where you have your question, and then there's a series of answers. Now, for the free version, because it's free, it's like I do everything anonymously. This is really just to get students involved and students engaged. I don't have them sign up. I don't have them get an account. And so they can respond anonymously, because oftentimes I use it for a number of different things. One is to kind of get a check of where they are with an understanding of a certain concept. And so a multiple choice question might just be actually asking a question that might be on the midterm exam. It might be on the final exam, but I just want to get a sense of are they following along? Do they have a grasp of the key ideas? Some might give a series of 3 questions at the end of a day or the end of a week, and if they're not coming up with it, I know I need to reintroduce this idea or introduce it in a different way. So that's one. Word clouds are great. This is where you just create a title, you just create a question. I'll show you one of what is your favorite color? Or what is the best color? And so this is where students can, I'm sure you've seen word clouds before, where it's the most input response becomes bigger. So if you have questions about that you really just want a variety of input. Q&A is really good. So participants respond to a question, they can upvote and downvote other answers. So this is really good, if you're trying to get consensus. If you want to do anything with images in there, you can do what is your favorite, or if you're doing maps or doing, if you're doing equations, you're which is the correct equation to find the area of a let's do a sphere. So, which is the correct equation, they can click on it. A survey, this is where it's a little bit more, they create a series of questions they can answer at their own pace. And so this is much like a survey that you would do in SurveyMonkey or Google Survey, but they could log in, they could be in the class, or they could be at home and doing this at the same time. You have some open-ended questions, and you have, it's a free form answer, and you have some competitions that you can do where they're actually trying to come up and answer questions as fast as they possibly can. So those are some fun things, but really explore. There's a whole bunch: leaderboard, brainstorming things, selecting on a map, short answer book. I mean, there's a 2x2 matrices, donut charts. There's a lot of things that you can do through these. So I'm just going to walk you through a couple, and you can see hopefully how how you can get some engagement across from your students in the class and the students logging in at home. So I've created my activities. Create my activities here. This is I'll go back here to my activity and I'll click on it. So go back to my activity and okay. So these are all. What is the best color? And so I ask. We're talking about one of my classes. We're talking about interpretation and hermeneutics and the art of interpretation, and how we're all kind of how do you decide on like something like the best color? If everyone has their own input, how are you trying to decide on which one is finally the best? So and really you can't. Well, blue is actually the black. No, I'm joking. So but we have all of these inputs. So there's 30 something input, and so once I write the question, so I haven't activated the question yet, but once I write the question, I come to this and I can click on how can people respond? And people can respond through the website. The audience can go to PollEverywhere or PollEv.com/Chris Bourne, and it'll show all my active. I think I can go there too. PollEv. What is that site? Sorry, not my things up there. Okay. Go to PollEv.com/Chris Bourne. PollEv.com/Chris Bourne. Okay. You can actually see all the active polls I have, and so they could do this. Turn on. Okay, not now. Okay, so I'll have all my active polls and my history, my home profile, and so students don't have to create a profile if they don't want to. But I have all the active responses that I have out here will show up, and so students can just go to this. They can just bookmark that, whether it's on their computer home. So that's good for the people that are already on their computer at home or people who are on their computer in class. They can also text. They can text their responses, and so if they text their response right here, I have. It's right. The directions are right up here at the top. If I make this full screen, the directions are right up here. It says, respond or text 325-719 and your message. So you would text that and then blue to that number, and it'll come right up. So it's a great way. You could leave these open. You could set these open a couple days before class. It's like, okay, part of your assignment is to go out and actually submit some responses to these discussion questions or these questions, because then what happens is that let me figure out how to, there we go, get out of that. Okay. And audience restriction and identity, everyone, no restrictions, completely, I make it completely anonymous. You could do a screen name if you want, response settings, and you can go through as many times as they like. I can allow them changes, no reply message. I don't send them any message. Again, this is really just kind of get them to get involved. We censor profanity out of the responses, but with our students, it tends not to be an issue. They take these things, they're serious students. So it's something you can do to kind of just get some immediate input from both students in the class and at home. And another way, so you can see, so with the word cloud, the responses that are put in the most are the ones that show up the biggest. So that's one way to do it. Okay, I'm going to go to a different one here. I'm going to go back to my activities. Okay, and show you a couple different ways that you can use this. Okay, what is the best color? Now here's a discussion prompt. So, and again, because this is anonymous, we have a lot of people. We can have a lot of people. Let me show full screen. A lot of people. And right now this poll is locked, so we would unlock it. We would show the responses. We would activate, and we would full screen. Okay, so to what extent do you agree with the following? There should be a federal law prohibiting the burning of the American flag. Okay, strongly agree, neither, disagree, strongly disagree. Okay, and so students are able to. This could be real time in class. If you're talking about something that's a little bit more contentious or a little bit more debated, and students don't necessarily want to raise their hand, or students online, okay, what do you think? Here's a way where you can just kind of get everybody to provide some input. Okay, and now you know where you are. Now you know where everybody stands on this particular issue. And this question is actually always really surprising me. And and I have a theory on this, but talk to me about it later when we'll talk about civil religion. So anyway, but it's a great way of getting some input on this. Now you can also do this where you actually have a question, and so if you have a question from this is where you have the question set up, the multiple choice. You know, you have a question set up from the class. If you say, okay, is there a federal law prohibiting, you know, the burning of the American flag? Yes or no? No, there's not. So you could always have, you could write questions in to kind of see where the students are in your particular class, whether you're trying to get a response. And again, students online at home, students in the class, they can all participate in this by going to the website or even texting off with their phone. So, and there's an app. There's an app too. It's in the Android store. It's in the Apple store. And so again, it's really easy for them to be able to do in the class. So the last kind of activity that I just wanted to mention that I do in order to try to galvanize some participation of students, especially this semester. They have masks on, you know, and it's really hard to hear. And I'm teaching in the gym, you know, and teaching online, and so it's hard for me to be able to walk around and like go up to everybody and hear, and it's really destroying. So this way, I can kind of try to get some input. And so let's see what's down here. Okay, so we're talking about my religion and sports class. Okay, in 1 to 3 word responses, what are the characteristics of play? And now what I did on this one is they would provide a whole bunch of input. We get a whole bunch of input, and then they would be able to upvote or downvote particular things, particular responses. And so it was really good. So what are the characteristics of play? Mindless, fun, active. And then we pulled these things. Okay, so this is what they all think. Okay, this is the best response. Okay, and they can vote for more than one, but this is the best response. They really like this one. And so it bubbles its way, moves its way up to the top. And then we compare that, and we ask the same kind of question. Okay, what are the characteristics of sport? Okay, and so now we have these two things. Everyone's able to participate. Everyone's able to kind of like, okay, yeah, I think those 3 words really capture what sport is. And now we have something, and we can do a Venn diagram on the board or things like that. But it's not. If I were teaching in the collaboratory, I might have them write on the whiteboard, on their personal whiteboards, and you know we'll track everything down. But here it's just a way of getting everyone involved really quickly. You're typing in some responses. They see it right away. People can vote for theirs. It's anonymous. It's just a great way to kind of get people try to bridge that gap. I'm struggling with bridging that gap with getting my students involved that are online. I have 7 students, typically 6 to 8 students that are logging into the class online, and to get them involved, I feel like I'm struggling with that. And this has been a way that I feel that it still gets them involved, feel like a part of class. Everyone is participating in this, and so that's my spiel about PollEverywhere. It's free. I use the free version. I'm happy to walk anybody through it. But you know, if you have ideas on how to overcome those particular challenges, please let the Teaching and Learning Committee know. You can talk to myself. You can talk to Beth. You can talk to Michelle. You can talk to Robin. And okay, we can all use everyone's help. So with that, thanks so much, and I look forward to talking with you soon. All the best.